Hi everyone. I so wanted to be with you today, but as you can imagine, the early days of my tenure as the majority leader of the Pennsylvania State Senate have been quite chaotic. With that being said, I am truly humbled and grateful for the opportunity to raise the level of influence for Western Pennsylvania and more specifically, Westmoreland County. As a Commonwealth, we are facing a myriad of challenges never seen before. As we are all aware, the pandemic has paralyzed our economy through continued government restrictions and public health mandates. State and local government revenues are struggling to meet expectations and continue to remain unstable through the first quarter of 2021. These tensions have increased an already deep political divisiveness in Harrisburg. Needless to say, we have a serious workload ahead of us. In the Senate, we have made tackling the economic and public health issues that continue to plague our communities one of our top priorities. The first week of March will mark 1 year since the governor first declared a state of emergency, and we are still operating under that declaration of emergency today. And despite the dropping of cases and the ongoing vaccine distribution, Governor Wolf has shown no indication that he plans to end the state of emergency or even perhaps ease up on some of the restrictions. As we are all painfully aware, the governor has handed down executive orders restricting businesses, leisure and recreation, government operations. Some of our folks aren't even in the Capitol yet, and even elective medical procedures. In addition, the Commonwealth Secretary of Health has relied on a little-used 1955 law regarding disease and prevention to force changes to public behaviors, limit family gatherings, and force healthy people to stay in their homes under fear of criminal prosecution. And let us not forget, she also ordered nursing homes to accept COVID-positive patients without ensuring these facilities had proper PPE or isolation procedures and availability. The Secretary of Health did this while taking her own mother out of one such facility. This made both patients and those caring for those patients vulnerable to contracting the virus. Last session, I had a bill that would stop that insanity from ever happening again, but it died in the House due to timing. I'm working with another senator who will prime sponsor the bill this time around, and I look forward to moving it out of the Senate and over to the House with plenty of time to get it across the finish line. The legislature, time and time again throughout this pandemic, has tried to bring accountability and transparency to the governor's actions. Each time, he has received the unwavering support from his friends sitting on the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court in opposing our legislative input. So, with little statutory options remaining, we advanced a bill I introduced last year seeking to amend the Pennsylvania Constitution. The bill would establish checks and balances on extended emergency declarations. More specifically, the amendment would establish that 21 days after any declaration of emergency by any governor of any party, the extension or termination of that declaration cannot occur without legislative approval. The amendment question needed to be voted on in 2 consecutive legislative sessions, and I am pleased to say the legislature successfully passed Senate Bill 2 just a couple of weeks ago. This ensures the question will be on the May 18, 2021 primary ballot statewide in the form of a referendum. A constitutional amendment was the only way to get around the governor and the state Supreme Court and take it straight to the people of our Commonwealth. This is an initiative to restore the balance of power in Pennsylvania in accordance with what our founding fathers originally crafted and what our Constitution guarantees: 3 equal branches of government. The referendum question puts the power back in the hands of the people and provides them the opportunity to have their elected representatives have equal say in situations like this, where a governor, as of now, has consolidated power. Just think about the situation we find ourselves in. The person who declares a state of emergency consolidates power and is able to impose mandates, override regulations and laws, is the only person who can end that state of emergency. That's a constitutional crisis if there ever was one. I humbly urge all of you to become active in your fields in advocating for approval of this referendum so that we can finally have an open and transparent process related to restrictions that may be choking our economy. The Wolf administration's Pennsylvania Department of State wrote the verbiage for the referendum, and it was approved by the Pennsylvania Attorney General. It's clear that it was written in a way to discourage voters from voting yes. They have been clear they are against the proposal. So we have to work a lot and hard in the next couple of months to make sure the voters know exactly what we're trying to do. Pennsylvania was the first to do this. Arizona is now following suit, and even New York. And there are other states have since come on board in the last week or two. We are also actively working to resolve the outstanding issues related to the vaccine rollout this year. The COVID-19 vaccine is a critical element to restoration of normalcy, and what the governor and president are saying is the foundation to revitalizing our economy. The rollout in PA has been fraught with problems. In a real twist of irony, while the governor has shown zero inclination to relinquish emergency powers in relation to business restrictions, he has been more than willing to seek our intervention in helping him manage the vaccine rollout calamity that now exists. We will take what we can get in order to help the citizens of our great Commonwealth. A task force of legislators and administrative officials has been created to fix these early missteps and plan for a more organized and systemic approach to distribution. Regulatory reform and opposition to Governor Wolf's inclusion of Pennsylvania into the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, also known as RGGI, are of high importance to the Republican caucus. Our members have been looking at ways to streamline government regulation and eliminate the need for cumbersome steps and oversight that would stand in the way of industry expansion. RGGI and the proposed carbon tax runs counter to that. Make no mistake, a battle is brewing between the unilateral, sustainable energy mandates of a liberal administration and a natural resource industry that has been the backbone of Western Pennsylvania's economic advancement. We have questions as to whether the governor can unilaterally enter Pennsylvania into this compact because RGGI requires a carbon tax. Taxes can only be enacted by the legislature. We will continue to fight this effort because we are the only state that has vast economy-generating natural resources in this northeastern state compact. Pennsylvania will be more negatively impacted than the others. I keep saying, why doesn't the governor follow Ohio and West Virginia instead of New York? Guess we all already know the answer to that. Lastly, as I mentioned earlier, this new position is an opportunity to elevate Westmoreland County's issues to the highest level. Rural and suburban counties like ours are seeing a renewed interest in broadband access. The restrictions on school districts have exposed the geographic gaps in online access. Shift to more teleworking has increased demand, and high-speed internet is no longer a luxury for our residents. It has become a key element to future economic development, right up there with water, sewer, and roads. Broadband, too, is a priority for the legislature, and with federal government signaling another stimulus infusion, the opportunity will be there to capitalize on growing this essential service throughout all of our communities. Before I start talking, which is usually never, I want to thank all of you for your continued perseverance during this past year in fighting to keep our economy going and people in jobs. That has not been easy. Thanks to the EGC for all of their work in assisting with small business grant distribution. Throughout the last year, we have been moving as quickly as possible to distribute these funds to the counties when they become available to the Commonwealth. Westmoreland County is fortunate to have an organization like the EGC that can mobilize and adapt in such an efficient manner when needed. And lastly, thank you to our county commissioners for their effort during this trying time. The state put a load of work on them when we sent the aforementioned money to the counties for distribution. There were a lot of hard decisions to be made. And also, and importantly, they oversaw our vital emergency services and helped to ensure they had what they needed, especially during the first 6 months of this pandemic. And that was not an easy task. So thanks for having me today, and as always, know my office is available if you need anything, and have a great rest of the day. Keep on trucking, keep our economy moving.
Thanks, Kim. Obviously, as we all know, she certainly has a passion for all the well-being of this side of Pennsylvania, and now obviously for the whole state. So we're very fortunate to have her in our corner and have her in the State House. So this has been great. So I appreciate her taking the time. The next thing on our agenda is our nomination for Board of Directors, and logistically, because we're on a Zoom call, we had the vote it took place, but I want to make sure that everybody sees the folks that were nominated and will be on our Board of Directors. And I know you can read it, but Jason Corno will be here from Case and Construction. He's new. Nick Flew from Kennemetal. Also new to the board, Nancy Kukovic, who's our CEO at Adelphi. Dr. Chris Oldham will continue on the board. Jason Rigoni, who manages our Industrial Development Corporation. John Klein at Standard Bank and is part of our West Penn Sustainable Energy Fund board. Dr. Mary Finger from Seton Hill University. Dr. Tuesday Stanley, CEO at Westmoreland College. Marcy Karasak from Somerset Trust. Pete Cooper of Cooper Trading. Jim Samarone from Citizens Bank. Dr. Perino from Franklin Regional. Dr. Kevin Snyder from Penn State New Kensington, and you'll hear more about things we're doing in New Kensington. And Father Paul Taylor from St. Vincent College. We had the board had met prior to this meeting, and we had a motion from Chad Ammon and a second from Mark Smale, and these folks were unanimously approved as the new members of our board of directors. So I would like to congratulate those folks and welcome them to the EGC board. Did I do that right, Jim and Jim? I want to make sure. Jim Conti, our solicitor, is on. He'll yell at me if I did something wrong. And then next is our nomination for our executive committee. Again, these folks have been willing to serve. I will be stepping down as chair after 2 years, and the new chair will be Kevin Jansma from PNC Bank, Pete Cooper from Cooper Trading, Jason Rigoni from the IDC, Mike Pauley from Ventana USA, Marcy Karasak from Somerset Trust, Dr. Tuesday Stanley from Westmoreland College, and John Spahn from Excella Health. We had a motion from Chris Oldham and a second from John Klein. And again, the board was unanimous. And I would like to congratulate and welcome these folks. They are 2-year terms. I will tell Kevin Jansma it'll be the fastest 2 years that you will spend, but it will also be exciting. And the only thing I will say is I have enjoyed every moment of being chairman of the board. Even in 2020, it was very interesting when you thought things weren't going to get exciting. They were very exciting. And then I would take this chance to thank everybody on the EGC team, Jim and the entire staff. You know, I don't think people realize what you guys do behind the scenes. I mean, Kim Ward talked about, you know, just the things with the money that came from the state that you had to work with the county to distribute. That kind of work was fabulous. And then we have 2 board members that will be leaving the board. Rob Ritson, who many of you know is in Hempfield and works for Senator Kim Ward, and Jason Uhas, who has, I think, switched, as I recall, switched positions and moved out. But they were great board members. We're glad to have them. But my thanks to both of them for their time. And that was a pre-COVID picture when we were all allowed to stand together. That's a picture of our many board members. And again, thank you to the board members. They're very active. The new members, I told them it was only going to be a couple hours of their time each month, maybe more, maybe less, depending on their activity. But this is your group of board members and then some staff members there. So thank you for all they do. I didn't realize I had this much to speak, Jim. So. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Jim Smith, and I'm going to go on mute. And he's got Kyle and Anthony, our guys, and Alfie, not his real name, but we're going to call him Alfie anyways. You'll see Anthony's got his headset on. I think he's a DJ today. Maybe he's going to spin some tunes. But here's the story on 2020. So I'll turn it over to you, Jim.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you to our board members. And thank you for all of those joining us today. You're going to hear a little bit about the work that we've done in 2020 and plans for 2021. And we're going to begin with Kyle Martin, our Business Development Officer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle Martin, Business Development Officer for Economic Growth Connection. And as Jim said, I will kick off our organization's 2020 year in review. On your screen, you will see the different traditional funding programs we utilize to help businesses grow, along with a snapshot of the number of projects we funded and a number of jobs that were directly impacted. This does not include any pandemic relief support, which we will cover later in the presentation. Before we get into the specific numbers and projects, first, let's learn more about the funding mechanisms that can help your business grow. EGC is Westmoreland's state-certified economic development organization. We partner with the Commonwealth's DCED, or Department of Community and Economic Development, to help administer different low-interest state loan programs to businesses here in the county. Through the main programs listed on the left, EGC has helped hundreds of businesses identify what loan or grant program will suit their needs. If a company is looking to purchase land, buildings, or machinery and equipment, there are specific programs for that, such as PETA, MELF, and SBF. If a company is looking to upgrade their facility to be more energy efficient, there are grants, loans, and rebates through the Small Business Advantage Grant, West Penn Power Sustainable Energy Fund, and Act 129 to help with those kinds of projects. If a company qualifies as a diverse business, EGC has a specific loan fund committed to promoting diversity and inclusion to small businesses here in the county. Having a better idea of the different funding mechanisms we utilize, in the middle column, you can see our 2018, 19, and 2020 overview of traditional projects we supported. Again, this number does not include any pandemic relief support, which we will cover later. Last year, EGC supported $11.3 million of expansion projects during the pandemic, providing $4.6 million in financing through the various programs while having a direct impact on over 220 jobs. To provide you with a better idea of what a project may entail, we will now dive into a couple specific projects. Here's an example of a loan approval we received in 2020 for Weaver Investments Incorporated. Weaver Investments is a privately held family corporation specializing in the development of office and warehouse flex space. This project includes the construction of a 100,000 square foot multi-tenant office and warehouse building in Export, PA. Medcare Equipment Company, an LLC, will be moving their operations from Allegheny County and occupy 75% of the newly built facility. This is a $4.5 million project in which EGC was able to provide $2.25 million in financing at the incredibly low interest rate of 1.75%. In addition to retaining 50 jobs, this project is creating 50 new full-time jobs for Westmoreland County residents, which is a huge win for the workforce here. 2020 was also the year EGC worked diligently to close on multiple loans for product evaluation systems of Latrobe. PES is an independent, full-service mechanical, non-destructive, metallurgical, and chemical testing laboratory. President Walt Moorhead expanded his facility by 12,500 square feet and purchased over 10 pieces of machinery and equipment to help add new testing capabilities for continued growth. This was a $4.23 million project in which EGC was able to provide a total of $1.6 million in financing. Of the $1.6 million, $1 million went through the PETA program for the real estate expansion and renovation costs, and the other $600,000 in financing went through the MELF program for the machinery and equipment purchase. This project led to the creation and retention of approximately 45 jobs here in the county, demonstrating yet another successful story of economic development during unprecedented times. Moving forward into 2021, EGC's business outreach strategies will continue to progress with the partnerships of Westmoreland County Industrial Development Corporation and the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce. EGC and the IDC personally met with over 100 businesses in 2020, working together to provide businesses with a comprehensive assistance package for their potential needs. New to the 2021 business outreach strategy, we'll be following up with all of the businesses and nonprofit organizations we helped during the COVID-19 pandemic. During these times, we spoke with and worked with over 1,500 businesses here in the county. This opportunity to assist businesses in their greatest time of need has opened the door for EGC to start building stronger relationships with the businesses here in Westmoreland and allow us to have a greater economic impact moving forward. Before bringing back our President and CEO to discuss our COVID-19 pandemic relief funding efforts, I would encourage all of you to contact me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding any business projects in the future. If you or someone you know plans to expand and grow your business, whether the project total is $50,000 or $50 million, please reach out via email, phone, or social media so we can help identify the right program for you and hopefully save you and your business a lot of money. A quick food for thought. Just between the two projects we discussed earlier with Weaver Investments and PES, we were able to save these companies hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest payments. So ask yourself, what could you do with that kind of money? Thank you everyone for your time. And now I'd like to pass the torch back over to our President and CEO, Jim Smith, so he can review our COVID-19 disaster relief funding efforts. Jim?
Thank you, Kyle. As you can see, 2020 was a busy year, even without the unprecedented challenges that all of us faced with the COVID-19 pandemic. Last year, EGC, as Kyle mentioned, reached out to more businesses in 1 year than we have in our history. We talked with thousands of businesses and processed well over 1,000 applications for grants and loans for pandemic relief. 4 programs that spanned multiple rounds. We worked with well over 1,000 companies to get them funding. This resulted in over $17 million in relief funding being distributed to Westmoreland County companies. As you can see from the attached graph, funding occurred in all corners of Westmoreland County. Wherever companies were, we tried to be, but we couldn't do it alone. We had help from our county partners at the Industrial Development Corporation, from the Chamber of Commerce, and many others who helped us reach companies that we have never talked with before. I'd like to thank them for their assistance. Every industry was affected, and relief went to many different industries, as you can see on the attached graph. But once again, none of this could happen alone. I'd like to thank the state delegation who worked diligently to provide relief funding packages, the R.K. Mellon Foundation that gave us additional money for funding, and the Westmoreland County Board of Commissioners for allowing us to be part of the funding distribution. All of this resulted in over $25 million, closer to $30 million of funding through both traditional and non-traditional means that we were able to assist Westmoreland County companies with in 2020. We were proud of our role to help keep the lights on.
Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Economic Growth Connection has had the privilege of assisting and supporting the Westmoreland County business community, helping them to keep the lights on, providing employment and services for our residents, lifelines for our families, and stability for our county. Across several rounds of disaster relief funding, we have had the opportunity to speak with businesses from all over Westmoreland County, learning what makes them vital pieces of our regional economy. The Keep the Lights On campaign was created to celebrate these businesses, letting them tell their own stories and gain the recognition they deserve. As we move into 2021, we will continue to facilitate disaster relief funding and continue to share the stories of the businesses that have been able to keep the lights on. If your business would like to be highlighted in our Keep the Lights On campaign, please let us know by emailing egc@egcw.org. This work and these stories are made possible through the generous financial contributions of our members. We are thankful for your continued support of EGC and your commitment to the economic health of Westmoreland County.
And now, with a special announcement of additional pandemic relief funding, I'd like to welcome the Westmoreland County Board of Commissioners, beginning with the chair, Chairman Sean Curtis.
Jim, thank you so much for having us here today and allowing us to be on this as a board. As you can see, the EGC has touched so many people during the COVID crisis with distributing the funds, and we have utilized them. We're so proud of what they've done, and Senator Kim Ward spoke so highly as well, what you've done, and we could be so more proud of what you've done and be an asset to this community. So thank you to Jim, the colleagues, the board members, your fellow workers. But we're excited today to talk about the Westmoreland County and how we've been authorized to distribute $3.9 million of hospitality funds given to us by DCED. This will be a first come, first served basis, and EGC once again will be administering this program. We're going to do something different this time and have no paper application. A website will be built to help protect the data and important information for those individuals that are applying in businesses. The criteria will be based upon distressed areas of businesses, no prior funding, or funding that was forgiven, but other businesses still can apply, because if those criteria have not been met, money will still be given out. There's approximately 1,200 businesses that have been classified in this sector countywide. And once again, we're proud of having Jim Smith and his organization being part of this at the county. So once again, this is the second week the commissioners were on a Zoom call talking, and we're always available for a third week if need be. So we are here anytime and talk about what's going on in the county. So thank you again, Jim and the EGC. The board members are on the call today for allowing us to speak.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you to the commissioners. It is truly an honor to be able to help distribute funding to all of the companies that are in need. And we know from our work last year that many are, and by the contacts that we've gotten this year, many companies are still in dire need of funding. As we get companies reaching out, we would like to encourage them to follow us on our website and the county's website for additional information on the upcoming programs, and on our social media, including Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, for the latest updates on this and other important information on pandemic relief funding across Westmoreland County. Next, I'd like to welcome Anthony Princeton, the coordinator of the Forum for Workforce Development, to give an update on the activities of that organization in 2020. Anthony?
Thanks, Jim. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Princeton. I am the coordinator for the Forum for Workforce Development. Despite the pandemic, 2020 and early 2021 have been filled with success for the Forum for Workforce Development. Projects ranged from in-person and student and educator-focused experiences before the pandemic, such as teacher in the workplace and companies in the classroom, to adapting career education and exploration for virtual and hybrid learning models with our virtual reality career snapshots, career journey videos, and virtual career mentoring. Today, I'll be highlighting just a few. First and foremost, our virtual reality career snapshots. I'll allow you a minute to go ahead and take a look at the video playing. So, as you can see, utilizing 3D camera technology, the Forum can take students out of the home or classroom and transport them into the office, workshop, or warehouse, or in this case, the ATC in Mount Pleasant. These VR career snapshots will allow students, teachers, and parents to explore several career options wherever they may be using smart devices. And that is any smart device, whether it be a phone, virtual reality headset, or a computer. This also gives businesses and schools alike the opportunity to engage with the workforce of tomorrow for a very limited time commitment. These experiences can be created in under 1 hour, and they can impact students for years to come. Thanks to grant funding from the Westmoreland Fayette Workforce Investment Board and the First Energy Foundation, these experiences are now able to be created by businesses utilizing virtual reality creation kits. With the generous grant funds, we were able to create 10 virtual reality creation kits, which we can now send to businesses, allowing them to create their own tours, capture their own images on site. Also utilizing this technology, we have begun to create tours with our area CTCs, and those tours will be coming to the Career Hub as well as each individual CTC's website as early as April. The virtual reality creation kits will allow us to expand our virtual catalog exponentially, offering as many experiences as we possibly can. Next up, virtual career mentorship. Partnering with the Consortium for Public Education, we have been given the opportunity to help them pilot their virtual career mentorship program. This program has been given a seal of approval by the Pennsylvania Department of Education, meaning that it checks all benchmarks for a mentorship experience. On our end, we are going to pilot this experience with the Jeanette City School District and our great partner, Elliott Group. This experience will include 6 different sessions, each totaling 1 hour in time. These sessions will include an introduction to Elliott Group. 4 weeks will be spent talking about specific professions within Elliott Group. And the final session, which we are all very, very excited about, is the how to get hired portion. And I know Jeanette has expressed how excited they are about that as well. Currently, we are in the final planning stages, and the experience will kick off in mid-March. Next, in the virtual environment, the best way to keep up with the forum is through our new interactive newsletter. This newsletter features articles, videos, and links detailing our work throughout the region. As you can see in the bottom corner there, you have Austin, myself, and our new partner, Jordan Jasper. So those are our highlighted career journey videos. This comes out once a month, usually near the end of the month. And for more information on how to get involved with the forum, you can contact us. We would absolutely love to get as many people on this meeting involved with forum activities as possible. We are absolutely always looking for new partners and new businesses to show the students of Westmoreland County and beyond. Thank you all so much for your time. I'm going to toss it back to Jim. Have a great day.
Thank you, Anthony. I can't stress enough the importance of the Workforce Forum in today's world. As you all know, workforce continues to be the biggest challenge that many of our companies are facing. The work that Anthony and Austin and the rest of the forum members are doing is incredible. It's already being held up as something that can be copied throughout the state, something that can be duplicated in other districts and other counties, and for ways in which businesses can greatly accelerate their access to our workforce. So Anthony and Austin, thank you for the work that you've done. Today, I'm also going to touch on several other aspects that we did in 2020. It was a very busy year, as Paul mentioned. At the beginning of the year, which started out quite normally, no one understood or appreciated the importance that having the right technology in place would allow companies in the months to come. EGC, through years of preparedness, was able to make that switch very easily. We went to a virtual employment base, added a few tech upgrades, and didn't miss a beat. The first pandemic relief funding began at the end of March, and we were all working out of our homes at that point, just as if we were here in the office together. Most importantly, last year, we formed a joint communication strategy with the Industrial Development Corporation and the Chamber of Commerce. This became critical. In a pandemic, information is as valuable as money. Knowing who to trust and who to go to and where to look became important factors that we'd not considered in the past. The joint communication strategy, which was hosted by the Westmoreland County Board of Commissioners on their website, allowed businesses the confidence to know that the information they were getting from their economic development partners was coming from a unified voice and reaching as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. February of last year, we held our membership luncheon, just like we did this year, except we got to be in person. But in the fall, when it wasn't believed possible, we also held our annual meeting. And we were adamant that if possible, and if we could do it safely, we wanted to be together. So we changed our format, went to Bellaterra Vineyards, and over 200 people, following CDC guidelines and being safe, were able to enjoy the evening and learn about all of the important work that EGC has done during the year. We refreshed our brand logo, increased our social media presence in order to get to more companies as quickly as possible. And we've done other projects that I'm going to talk about next, making 2020 a year of successes. In 2020, as many of you know, we've been working on a project in Ligonier for quite some time. And I'm happy to say in 2020, we finished it. We built the last 3 patio homes that made 12 units available for families that came in, creating a beautiful new development for the borough of Ligonier. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to do so. The houses are lovely, and the increase in tax base for the community has been a real boost. The West Penn Power Sustainable Energy Fund in 2020 started a brand new project that is the first of its kind in the United States. Taking a 100-year-old plus building in downtown Kane, Pennsylvania, we're working to transform it into a passive house standard that will become a model to be seen and viewed by companies interested in this type of development all around the world. We're already garnering interest from foundations, from institutes, wondering how exactly it is that this type of building could be generating that type of energy savings. The photo that you see here is in progress of replacing the facade and the roof. Work's going to be completed this year and open to tours, hopefully live in the fall. Next, I'd like to talk about the Digital Foundry. This is a unique development, and one that's one of the largest that we've ever done, not only in dollar terms, but really in terms of impact and importance. This $5 million plus building that's been funded by the generous contributions of the R.K. Mellon Foundation is going in downtown New Kensington. The building you see there is a rendering. Construction is going to begin possibly within the next few weeks. This is a collaborative effort between EGC, the City of New Kensington, the Redevelopment Authority of New Kensington, the Richard King Mellon Foundation, the Westmoreland County Industrial Development Corporation, and last but certainly not least, Penn State University at New Kensington. The project will ultimately be aimed at connecting Westmoreland County students and businesses to the world of Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is a generic term for the fourth industrial revolution, changing the way that businesses operate, that factories are run, that medical opinions are rendered, that legal advice is given. It will be a far-ranging impact that we're only just beginning to understand. This facility will be a regional leader and perhaps of national importance, all funded and thanks to the R.K. Mellon Foundation. None of the work that we do would be possible without our members. I'd like to thank all of the members that we have on the call today. Thank you very much from the bottom of our heart. To our future members, I'd encourage you to join us today. Contact us for details at egc@egcw.org. Your support is vital and needed. Last, I'd like to thank Paul. As our outgoing chairman, Paul has been our chair during totally unprecedented times. If you know Paul, you know that he's provided a calm and guiding hand. He's always been present to be a cheerleader, to offer advice, to offer guidance, encouraging us to do our very best. We're going to miss him. His list of accomplishments are far too great to go through, but you can read some of them there. I'm happy to say that one of the changes that we made years ago was to allow former chairmen to stay around to offer future advice, and I'm certainly looking forward to getting it from Paul. Paul, thank you. And lastly, once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Elliott Group, First National Bank, the Industrial Development Corporation, the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce, and Smale Auto Group. This presentation would not be possible without their support. Please follow us on our social media at Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Paul?
Thanks, Jim. Thanks to everybody. Thanks for those kind words. Again, as I've said for many years, because I've been on the board a long time, there's people just don't have an idea of what you do every day and some of the things that happen. And it's, we're not there to be front page news. We're just there to get the job done. But congratulations, and thank you to the board members, and thank you to the new board members that are stepping in, and the new executive board. There's a lot of things going on. And again, that workforce development, for years we struggled with it, and I think we have it, and it is a model for the entire state. So congrats to all that effort, and thank you to the county commissioners for your support, and Chad and Jason, the partnership with all three entities. That it wouldn't work without that kind of partnership. With that, Jim, I don't know, I'll turn it back to you for, you have your final word.
Thank you all for your participation today, for your membership, for your support all throughout the year. Thank you for all of those who have helped us and for all of those who will continue to do so. We're honored to be here to serve you, and we look forward to seeing you in person at the next event. Have a good day.